So we're live once again. Good evening, folks. Mobile Geezer here with Friday Night Tech Talk as usual. I hope everyone's had a good week. My week's been pretty good, even though it rained half the week and I haven't been on my bicycle for 6 days. Other than that, everything is good. I hope everything is good with you. There goes my stupid phone doing what it always does. Okay. Don't know who's going to join tonight. As usual, I sent the link out to Mike and Will and Mark and Ted. So we'll see who comes in. See anything new I need to tell you? I changed my screens around a little bit, so you might see me looking the other way when I pull up the stories. But other than that, I think we're good. Brian was the very first one in here tonight. Right now, he's the only one that's put a comment, and looks like there are 4 people actually watching. But if you want to say something and be recognized, just type in something, say hello, say goodbye. You say hello, and I say goodbye, whatever you want. So I'm going to go on to the very first story. Oh, I should show you. Sometimes I forget. Show you where the show notes are. They're on my website. So if you go to my website, and let's see what I do. Okay, yeah. Wrong screen. Okay, stop screen. Let's try again. Share screen. This is the screen. Oh, fart. Oh, look at that flashing. Try it again. I don't mind these minor things. It's the major ones that bother me. Okay. So if you go to my website, which is, let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger. It's mobilegeezer.wordpress.com. If you go straight to there, you come straight to here. Now, if you stay here, you're going to see all the stories I put up forever. So just click this top link, which has tonight's date, and that'll bring you to the show notes for tonight. So just wanted to show you that. We'll stop the screen here, and we'll move on to the stories. And I started with this particular story because I thought it was kind of a big deal, even though it has nothing to do with phones or anything like that. So let me share, see if I can click the right screen this time. And there we go. And let's see, do I have it big enough? I hope it's big enough for you people to see. I think it is. So Tesla is moving its headquarters to Austin, Texas, but it will still operate in California. So let me switch over to reader. Okay, I got bounced out of the studio for a second there, folks. So let's try it again. Share screen. Here's the story. All right, Tesla is moving its headquarters to Austin, Texas. Make it a little bit bigger. And but it will still operate in California. So now let's see if I can switch it to reader view. And when I did that before, that's when I got bounced out. Let's see. Okay, for some reason, every time I switch it to reader view, I get bounced out, I have to come back in. So I'll keep out of reader view. And Eleanor is here. Hey, Eleanor. glad to have you here. So we got Brian and Eleanor in here. And I think there's 3 more people watching, but not coming. That's okay. You can stay incognito if you prefer. So once again, I'm going to click on that story. And I'm going to share the screen. I won't go into reader view. I'll just leave all those commercials up there. Okay. So Tesla is moving to its headquarters to Austin, Texas, but will still operate in California. And this is on The Verge. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said Thursday that the company is moving its headquarters from Silicon Valley to Austin, Texas, where it has been building a new factory for a little more than a year. Musk said Tesla will continue to operate its electric vehicle factory in Fremont, California, and that he even plans to try and increase production there by 50%. Just to be clear, though, we will be continuing to expand our activities in California, he said during the company's annual shareholder meeting. So this is not a matter of Tesla leaving California. The move means Tesla's home will no longer be the state where its vehicles are the most popular. Instead, Tesla will be headquartered in the state where it can't legally sell its cars directly to consumers. Okay, guess it doesn't matter what it's only your headquarters. But they have built a factory there. Musk had previously threatened to pull Tesla's entire operations out of California in 2020 because of how vehemently he disagreed with the shelter-in-place orders the state used to help keep people safe early in the coronavirus pandemic. Tesla even sued the county that the company's California factory is in as a form of protest. Musk himself moved to Texas last year as SpaceX dramatically increased its presence in the southern tip of the state. The Tesla CEO said at one point that he thought California had become too complacent with respect to its residents and businesses. Tesla started building its next U.S. Gigafactory outside Austin in 2020 and has made an incredible amount of progress in the intervening year. We're going to create an ecological paradise here on the Colorado River, a reference to how the company plans to open up parts of the land it bought to the public. Musk said Thursday that Tesla is also looking at doing more major installations of battery storage like the one first reported by Bloomberg earlier this year. Musk previously said that Tesla chose to build in Austin, Texas over other locations because employees were more willing to move there. There's a limit to how big you can scale in the Bay Area, Musk said Thursday, adding that it's tough for people to afford houses in California. Tesla's Austin location is also right near the local airport, which Musk said is convenient. Tesla will be moving to Texas at a time when many businesses have found themselves under pressure to leave. After the state recently passed one of its most restrictive anti-abortion laws in the country. After the law was passed, Texas Governor Greg Abbott used Musk and Tesla as an example to try and prove this was not a trend during a CNBC interview. Abbott said in September that Elon had to get out of California because in part of the social policies in California, and that Musk consistently tells me that he likes the social policies in the state of Texas. Musk responded to that clip in a tweet saying he believes government should rarely impose its will upon the people, and when doing so should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness. That said, I would prefer to stay out of politics, he added. Smart man. Well, I think we all know he was a smart man. So anyway, since they're actually moving their headquarters to Austin, I just thought that was a pretty good story to start with. Since Tesla is Tesla and Elon Musk is Elon Musk, and I think that's cool. So let me see if I can get this screen back to a size that's more pleasant for my eyes. That's better. So that's story number 1. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I was surprised you were here so early, Brian, because you just told me the other day that you get out of work late. So I was very pleased. Okay, let's go on to the next story. And this is about the European Union and Apple. Let's share. Okay. The EU plans to escalate its Apple Pay investigation next year. And this was on Digital Trends. This is by Michael Allison. Apple is coming under fire. Oh, let me make this bigger again. Okay. Apple is coming under fire in the European Union over its use of NFC in phones. The company debuted the feature with the iPhone 6, but restricted its use to enabling Apple Pay's mobile payment feature. The EU is reportedly preparing to file charges over this, with the intent of forcing Apple to open up its NFC chip to third parties, according to a Reuters report. Mobile payments are an essential part of how modern smartphones are used, with both Google and Apple leading the charge on their respective mobile operating systems, while Android allows for some third-party integration. Samsung Pay comes to mind. Apple locks the use of NFC to its own Apple Pay solution. Not only does this mean that third-party payment providers can't operate on iPhones, but NFC capabilities like quick sharing effectively don't exist on the iPhone. According to the report, the EU plans to prepare a charge sheet known as a Statement of Objections for Apple as early as next year, focusing primarily on that NFC limitation. The charge sheet comes after an investigation into the effect of Apple's restrictions on both NFC and Apple Pay on the competition. European Commission Executive Vice President Margaret Vestager, I think I'd be able to say her name better. I actually looked up how do you pronounce it earlier. I've written at least 10 or 12 articles with her in it, but I've never had to pronounce it. Who is in charge of competition policy, opened an investigation into Apple Pay earlier this year, saying mobile payment solutions are rapidly gaining acceptance among users of mobile devices, facilitating payments both online and in physical stores. This growth is accelerated by the coronavirus crisis, with increasing online payments and contactless payments in stores. It appears that Apple sets the conditions on how Apple Pay should be used in merchants' apps and websites. It also reserves the tap and go functionality of iPhones to Apple Pay. It is important that Apple's measures do not deny consumers the benefit of new payment technologies, including better choice, quality, innovation, and competitive prices. I have therefore decided to take a close look at Apple's practices regarding Apple Pay and their impact on competition. Apple has recently faced down antitrust suits over the App Store, including one in Japan, where the company was forced to allow developers to link outside their apps. With regulation against large tech companies on the rise, the company can expect to face more scrutiny in the coming months, even after its semi-victory over Epic Games. Yeah, that was definitely only a semi-victory. So, nothing new in the EU going after companies, but I kind of agree with the EU on this one. I don't know what you guys think. Any opinions you have, just give them to me in the comments here, and we can discuss it some more if you want to. Okay, let me get rid of that story. Okay, and the third story, of course, is what we've all been talking about for weeks and weeks, months, I guess, really. There we go. And this one is on phonearena.com. And you guys probably knew this already, but I just thought I should put it out there since it wasn't out. It came out after my last broadcast. Oh, Keith is in here from Texas. Hey, Keith, glad to have you here. At least when I don't have Ted here, at least I've got another guy from Texas here. That's very good. Okay, Google makes the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro launch date official. Can I say that? By Adrian Diaconis. the Iconoscope. Okay, the Iconoscope. You know what? I'm going to try once more, see if I can get reader mode to work so we can get rid of some of this commercial. If it bounces me out for a second, I'll be right back. We'll see. And it still bounced me out. So I don't know what's up with that. Oh, you may notice that I'm wearing earbuds and nothing wired tonight. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes when we get on to another story. Let me share that screen again. Okay. So the launch date is official. There's what they put out for the launch. October 19th at 10 p.m., which is a week from next Tuesday. And I'll be watching for that. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay. The most highly anticipated phones left to be released this year finally have an official announcement date attached to their name, and it's one that was unofficially revealed by an infamous leaker more than a month ago. Android purists who didn't initially believe Front Page's text John Prosser can now circle October 19th in their calendars as the big Pixel 6 and 6 Pro date with no more hesitation. Of course, the two Tensor-powered handsets are unlikely to go on sale immediately after the launch event. But if we choose to trust Prosser to the end this time around, the actual commercial debut of the latest Google-made devices should take place just 9 days later, which would be great. So that would be the 28th? 28th, yeah. October 28th doesn't, hey, it was right in front of me. October 28th doesn't feel very distant anymore, especially with Big G doing an unusually good job of building buzz around its next iPhone rivals. These bad boys have been, I love the way they say next iPhone rivals. Have they ever rivaled the iPhone up to now? Just a question. These bad boys have been making headlines for a long time now, and although we seem to know everything there is to know about them already, we're still excited for what they'll offer out in the real world. If you're equally as excited as us, be sure to keep an eye on our website at 10 p.m. Pacific time on October 19th, when we'll obviously try to cover the Pixel fall launch in as much detail as humanly possible. By the way, if you're having deja vu, you should know you are most definitely not crazy. Let's get rid of that. And Google did indeed already announce the Pixel 6 Duo once back in early August, but that was more of a pre-announcement and an opportunity for the search giant to primarily hype up its first ever in-house chipset, which has essentially been detailed in full in a number of reports in recent weeks. That's true. In addition to a Tensor SoC that's unlikely to match the raw speed of Qualcomm's Snapdragon 888 powerhouse, let alone Apple's absolute A15 Bionic beast, the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro are unsurprisingly expected to have an impressive photographic skills going for them. Specifically, the slightly humbler, smaller, and cheaper model is tipped to pair a 50-megapixel main rear-facing shooter with a 12-megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera, with the Pixel 6 Pro likely to add a 48-megapixel telephoto lens to those same two imaging sensors. Speaking of retail prices, nothing is etched in stone just yet, but the 6.4-inch Pixel 6 could well start at anywhere between $699 and $799, but the 6.7-inch Pixel 6 Pro set to cost $999 or $1099 in an entry-level configuration, combining 128 gigabytes internal storage space with 12 gigabyte RAM count for me, if that's the base model, that sounds pretty good to me. The non-pro version, mind you, might settle for 8 gigs of memory as well as 90 hertz AMOLED display as opposed to the pro state-of-the-art 120 hertz plastic OLED screen. I can remember when 8 gigs of memory seemed like a lot. That wasn't very long ago, was it? Now I guess it's not considered much at all. Could there be any surprises in store? In short, yes. In long, well, we don't really know, or else we wouldn't be talking about surprises now, would we? That being said, we certainly think of at least 2 prime suspects for a surprise spot in the limelight at Google's 2021 Pixel 4 launch on October 19th. And you can see they're picturing a folding phone. I highly doubt that. By the way, you may have noticed the official title of the event doesn't specifically reference the Pixel 6, which opens the door even further to Pixel Fold speculation, rumored to go up directly against Samsung's costly, exceptionally well-polished, and almost surprisingly well-reviewed Galaxy Z Fold 3. Google's first foldable device, however, is unlikely to roll out in big numbers by the end of the year. I'll be shocked if it comes out at all. Instead, we expect the Pixel Fold, if real, to either have a very limited release in 2021 or no release by 2022 at all. Last but not necessarily least, the mythical Pixel Watch, that's for sure, that has eluded us all these years is still on our mind after that glorious leak back in April. But with absolutely no movement on the rumor front ever since, we're assuming Google's big Apple Watch rival has been delayed yet again. I love the way they say been delayed. I mean, Google has never said for sure they're going to make an Apple Watch, so I don't know how you can call it delayed. Just my opinion. Okay. Get off of this screen. Let's see. Okay, nothing new in the comments. You don't have to be shy, folks. You can speak up or give me whatever opinion you may have about the Pixel 6, or let me know if you're getting one. I am planning on getting one. Let me take a quick look at something. Okay, I guess I should tell you I'm pretty pleased because I got the invitation to join Pixel Superfans today, and I filled it out, and I didn't think they'd invite me to join, but they did, so we'll see what bonuses, if any, that gets me. Okay, moving on to the next story. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty short show because I only have 7 stories, I think, and if nobody else joins in and you guys aren't talking to me either, it's not going to be very long. That's okay. Okay. I try to bring you some stories every week that you're not going to see everywhere, but I guess this one you probably saw quite a bit because a lot of people talked about it. And that's on Twitch's big data leak. So this was on BBC News that I found this one, but I think a lot of people wrote about this one. Twitch blames server error for massive data leak. The data appeared to include Twitch's internal code and documents, as well as the payments made to thousands of top streamers. So I guess none of the users' information got out. Twitch now says the breach was caused by a severe configuration change that exposed some data, but it has not confirmed if all of the data posted online is genuine. The Amazon-owned company said that the breach had involved a Twitch server configuration change that was subsequently accessed by a malicious third party. As the investigation is ongoing, we are still in the process of understanding the impact in detail, it said. But as Twitch streamers and viewers alike scrambled to change passwords, the company all said it had no indication of login details were compromised at this time. Notice they said at this time, so obviously they're still investigating. Did not store users' credit card information, so that kind of financial information could not have been exposed. That's good. Was resetting all user stream keys, the unique code used by streaming software to broadcast to the right Twitch account. Twitch's short statement shows the company is in full crisis mode. Information technology teams and security experts are still trying to understand just how bad the data leak is. The explanation for the hack is that there was some sort of human error with a server configuration. In other words, someone set up the computers that store Twitch's private data incorrectly, making it findable and downloadable to hackers. What the company has not said is when this mistake was made. Some of the stolen data goes back 3 years, so there's a chance the service could have been sitting ducks for some time, or the mistake could have left the door open for only a few days or weeks. Hackers are always searching and scanning for open databases online, or is it even possible someone may have tipped off hackers about the internal IT blunder? But making these sorts of mistakes is costly, particularly when you are a target as big as Twitch. Wednesday's leak took the form of a torrent file posted to online forums by an anonymous user. Its file structure contains folders labeled as continuing, payout information, business documents, under the hood software files and code, and even details of unreleased projects. So all that's their data and not their users' data, which is good, I guess. And the payouts folder contains what appears to be records of payments made to thousands of the biggest streamers on the platform over 2 years, showing many of the biggest brands are earning millions of dollars. Well, they earned it, didn't they? Several streamers told BBC News the payment data was accurate for their own earnings, and that poses problems for the company. A lot more damage is now in store for Twitch, Candid West from cybersecurity company Acronis said. The breach is already harming Twitch on all the fronts that count. The leaked data could contain nearly the full digital footprint of Twitch, making it one of the most severe data breaches of late. Releasing payout reports for streaming clients will not make the influencers happy either, Mr. West added. The download released online is also labeled Part 1, oh boy, suggesting there may be more material yet to be posted to the internet. So, yeah, huge breach, but I mean, at least they didn't get people's contact information, credit card information, all that personal stuff. But I'm sure that the creators are not happy that everybody knows how much they make now. So I guess it could have been worse, but it's pretty bad for Twitch. Let's see. And Keith did answer me about the Pixel 6. He says, I'm not getting one, however. I am interested in any folding news from them. Okay, I think we all are. So, yeah, I don't have the Fold 3, but of course, everybody knows, I guess, by now that I have this one, and I am loving this thing to death. I think it's so cool. I've even learned how to do this pretty properly. So I'm pretty happy. Okay. Moving on to this one I threw in because it just came out and it's cheap. And I've seen a couple of stories that seem to think this was a pretty good phone for the price. And of course, I know there are some Moto fans out there. Too bad Mike's not here because he's definitely a Moto fan. But this one was on Pocket Now, and it's meet Motorola's new mid-tier device, the Moto G Pure. Check out Motorola's newest addition to the Moto G family, the Moto G Pure, that's available for just $159.99. And when they say available, well, I went and checked tonight, and if you go to the US Moto page, you can register. So it's not out yet, and but you can pre-order. Let's see. Okay. The new Moto G Pure is the latest addition to Motorola's Moto G lineup. This new device features a decent 6.5-inch Max Vision HD Plus 269 ppi IPS TFT LCD, so no OLED, with a 20.9 aspect ratio. It also comes packed with a 4,000 milliamp battery that will be able to last up to 2 days of regular use. And the best part is that when you finally need to recharge your device, you will enjoy 10 watts rapid charging speed, which is pretty cool. For a $160 phone, that sounds pretty good. You will also find a dual camera setup that features a primary 13 megapixel camera with phase detection, autofocus, and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. These cameras will get you lovely portrait photos. They are designed to work together to blur the background of your shots automatically. The camera in the Moto G Pure also features auto smile capture, smart composition, HDR, active photos, burst shots, and more. Plus, you will also get Google Lens integration to make your camera a bit smarter. The front camera packs a 5 megapixel sensor that will also deliver great features in a portrait mode beauty to help you look better in every shot. The new device is powered by the MediaTek Helio G25 processor, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and you get 32 gigabytes of storage. Boy, that's not much, but I guess for that price, which may not seem so great, that's what I just said, but you can get up to 512 gigabytes of storage on your new Moto G Pure with a micro SD card. It also comes with an IP52 rating and a water repellent design, so don't worry if you spill some water on it. Yeah, I just wouldn't submerge it anywhere. You can pre-order your Moto G Pure for just $160 at Best Buy, Walmart, B&H, Amazon, and Motorola. I just checked on Amazon tonight, and it's not even there to be pre-ordered yet. But I did look at the Motorola US page, and yes, you can register to pre-order it. However, if you want to get yours on Verizon, you will have to wait until October 14th. I guess they have to put all their Verizon stuff on there first. So I just wanted to, for anybody who's looking for a cheap phone for one of their relatives, kids, teenagers, whatever, they all make this sound like a really good device for $160. So make of it what you will. Seems like a good deal. I won't be getting it. Okay. Okay. And this next story was part of the exciting Microsoft news this week. And Windows 11 is finally here. Let's get rid of this. Okay. And this story was on ZDNet. And it's a Windows 11 hands-on. Microsoft's biggest minor upgrade ever is all about new hardware. For the first time ever, Microsoft is releasing a Windows upgrade that it doesn't want most of its existing customers to use. That's true, I guess, but especially on new hardware. Windows 11 offers some serious usability improvements along with a handful of annoyances. So he's going to give you the whole thing. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know, and I told you I'm wearing my earbuds for the first time rather than being wired. That's because, I use a green screen in the background. I use OBS. Well, whenever I turn on OBS, I could not get my pure wireless earbuds to work. So that's why I was wearing wired every week. Well, I have Windows 11 on this computer right now. I've had it for 3 days since it came out, and it seems to work beautifully for me. I've seen a couple of articles about some I would consider minor problems people are having with it. I haven't had any problems at all with it. And as we go through and I haven't had time to mess with it because I work Thursdays and Fridays. I got it Wednesday. So I haven't dug into it. If I do get a chance to, I'll probably make some little video about it. Okay, Renz is here. Hey, Renz, glad to have you here. That's all right. Last week you were early and Brian was late. This week Brian is early, you're late. So you guys balanced out very nicely. I appreciate that. So anyway, I have Windows 11 on mine. So now with Windows 11, all of a sudden I can wear my true wireless earbuds with OBS and everything's working great. So I don't know what the difference is, but I'm very happy about that because I was never able to get them work on Windows 10 while I had OBS running. So that's a step in the right direction for me. So we'll go do this article some. It's a pretty long article. We may skip around a bit, but I'll tell you the little bit that I know or have seen as we go through. So, and when they say it doesn't want most of its existing customers to use, that's true because if you've been following the lead up to this release, it seems like Microsoft only wants Windows 11 to run on much newer hardware. The reason it runs fine on mine, well, I've only had it 2.5 months, so mine's pretty new. But it seems like anybody who doesn't have a fairly new computer probably isn't going to be able to run Windows 11 or at least not run it properly. And I did see an article somewhere else that said it looked like Microsoft didn't want 60% of their users getting Windows 11 at all. So they seem to want everybody to have new hardware. Luckily, I do. So and this came out, 2 days ago? Oh, no, 3 days ago. Yeah, the day I got it. Yeah, Tuesday I got it. Microsoft is rolling out a major operating system upgrade this week. It is unlike any Windows upgrade I can remember, and I've been covering this beat since the dawn of recorded time. Technically, you can look at Windows 11 and argue that it's really only a feature update to Windows 10. For Exhibit A, just look at the version string that appears if you open a command prompt window. That looks like it always looked. Okay. Version 10, you say? Microsoft said that string is there for compatibility reasons, but it follows the exact same format that Windows 10 feature updates follow. Want more proof? Install Windows 11, and you can use any Windows 10 product key to activate that installation. Interesting. Microsoft confirms this behavior is by design. And what probably would make it easier for people who know absolutely nothing about it. So I think that's probably a good thing. I could go down a long list of additional reasons why this is technically a minor Windows upgrade that's been assigned a new version number for marketing purposes. I don't think so. And yet that explanation obscures a more important reality. This version of Windows marks a major hardware transition, with Microsoft drawing a firm line in the silicon and declaring that the majority of current CPUs will be obsolete when Windows 10 support expires in October 2025. Yeah, they usually make it last longer than that. For the first time ever, Microsoft is releasing a Windows upgrade that it doesn't want most of its existing customers to use. By my back of the envelope calculations, roughly 60% of the 1.3 billion PCs now running Windows 10 will be blocked from upgrading to Windows 11, although the owners of those PCs can install Windows 11 manually. That finding tracks with the results of a survey of 30 million enterprise PCs by IT assessment management company Landsweeper, which estimates that 55% of those PCs would fall short of Microsoft hardware requirements, and requirements were kind of long and complicated. I just figured mine would work because it's so new, and it worked beautifully. And it was very easy to install and very quick, too. Quickest one I ever had, as a matter of fact. It's also noteworthy that this is the first Windows upgrade in recent memory that isn't the result of Microsoft responding to a crisis in its installed base. That's true. Windows 10, for example, was a response to the market's wholesale rejection of Windows 8. That's true. Everybody hated Windows 8 and had nothing but problems with it, which was itself Microsoft's bold but flawed attempt to build an alternative to Apple's iPad. And then there's Windows 7, whose prime directive was to clean up the mess that was Windows Vista. That is very, very true. And Windows 7 was popular as all get out for a very long time. In that context, the fact that Windows 11 is a relatively modest refresh to the hugely successful Windows 10 is almost a relief. Indeed, it's remarkable that Microsoft designers have been able to concentrate on the nuts and bolts of Windows in this release instead of having to rebuild the operating system's foundation for the umpteenth time. That's true. They weren't trying to fix some major problem this time. The review is based on the final builds Microsoft released as part of the Windows Insider program. I've done upgrades and clean installs on a variety of hardware devices and find a few virtual machines as well as testing Windows 11 on a Surface Pro 8 review unit that I've been using for the past week or so. If your hardware passes Microsoft's requirements, and there are a lot, and you choose to accept the optional upgrade, here's what you can expect. Installation. For anyone who upgrades to Windows 11 using Windows Update, the experience should be similar to that of installing Windows 10 feature update. If you choose a clean install, you'll get a brand new setup experience that is much calmer and more understated than the Windows 10 experience, when none of those chirpy, verging on grating Cortana prompts, a little sign up here, a touch of Wi-Fi there. And it's true. It was by far the smoothest upgrade for Windows that I've ever done in my life. And that's including all my years programming at work, which was always on some kind of Windows machine. So it was very smooth and very quick and very easy for me. And you can see these are some of the things that ask you as you go through. And like I said, it was very quick and very easy. Besides a virtual refresh, the redesigned Windows 11 setup includes several new capabilities. You get the opportunity to choose a computer name as part of the installation. Yes, you do. Process instead of having a random string of letters and numbers assigned as the computer name. Yeah, I actually named my computer for the first time ever. When you sign in with a Microsoft account, you're also given the choice to copy settings and a list of apps from another device or set up the new PC using default settings. I just brought everything over. That's a choice that owners of mobile devices have been familiar with for ages, but it's nice to see it available on Windows PCs. That's the first time I've ever seen it. On the other side of the ledger, anyone installing Windows 11 Home Edition will be disappointed to learn that setup requires an internet connection and a Microsoft account. Well, I had both. You won't be able to proceed without either entering an existing Microsoft account address or creating a new one, although you can replace that account with a local account after setup is complete. If you're setting up Windows 11 Pro or Enterprise, you'll have the option of creating a local account, which is a prerequisite before joining a Windows domain. The Windows 11 installation does an excellent job of supporting passwordless sign-in for Microsoft accounts, as well as Azure Active Directory logins. On Microsoft Surface and other devices that include infrared cameras, Windows Hello facial recognition offers the easiest sign-up option. I think it did ask me if I wanted to use facial recognition when I signed up, I think. But with this computer, I just use my fingerprint and everything opens up. So that's all I worry about. The primary backup option in Windows 11 is OneDrive folder syncing. That's true, which allows you to save files from the Documents, Desktop, and Pictures folder to a connected OneDrive account. Legacy backup options are no longer accessible from Windows 11 settings, although they're still there if you know where to look. The well-hidden features include file history, which copies the data files and folders to a local storage device, along with the venerable Windows 7 backup program. User experience. After completing a Windows 11 installation, the most obvious change is the position of the Start button. And let's see if I can show you that. Yeah, you see the Start button is now kind of in the middle. It's right here, okay? So it's not on the left anymore. It's right over here. And it looks a little different. And as soon as I pulled it up, I was like, okay, where's my list of apps? Well, up here, it says all apps. There's what you're used to seeing on Windows 10. So it seems to work very nicely. And so far, I'm liking it. Like I said, I haven't had the chance to delve into it hardly at all, but it's smooth, it's easy to use, and so far I like it. Overall, the Windows 11 UX has a different visual style, a little bit, with a new system font, Sego UI variable, new themes and system icons, and rounded corners pretty much everywhere you look. Let's take a look again. I guess so. Okay. I don't know if I'd call all of it rounded corners, but okay. Okay, there's what I just showed you on mine. The Start menu is drastically simpler than it was on Windows 10. That's true, perhaps too much so. The taskbar, some people are never satisfied. The taskbar moves to the center of the screen, although you can reconfigure it in settings to align on the left instead, but it can no longer dock to the side or top of the display. The tiles that made up the Windows 10 Start menu are gone, along with any information that appeared on live tiles. They're replaced by rows of app icons that can be pinned and moved, but can't be grouped into folders. So if you like folders, I guess that's gone. The jump list for program icons showing recently opened files and common actions are now available only on the taskbar and not on Start. But, so you can see, these are the files that I opened recently, so it is saving. And let's see, like these down here, these are not pinned. I just opened them recently. The other place where Microsoft's designers have lavished attention on Windows 11 is the Settings app, which has received a total makeover in this release. That's true. Compare the settings pages for adding new devices to a Windows 10 and Windows 11 PC for a particularly enlightening example. And he shows this picture. Okay, and this is Windows 10. No, I'm sorry, this is Windows 10 and this is Windows 11, I think. No, backwards, 10, 11. So it looks a little different, but I've actually had to go in there a couple of times so far, just doing some of my normal stuff, and it's not very difficult to follow. And I'd say it's generally easier than before. That's just my opinion. In the Windows 11 layout, the list of categories. Oh, I think, Keith, I think you've got Windows 10 too. I thought I saw you posted on Twitter. Let me know if I'm right. In the Windows 11 layout, the list of categories is pinned to the left, with options in the selected categories sliding open and closed in panes on the right as you work with them. That eliminates the need to continually return to the settings homepage to select a new category, as is the case in Windows 10. Over the past 6 years, Microsoft has been slowly but steadily moving settings from the legacy control panel to the new Settings app. With the Windows 11 upgrade, that effort has gone into overdrive. There are still bits and pieces of control panel and other ancient pieces of Windows that pop up occasionally, especially for components that use the Microsoft Management Console. But this is a serious effort to relegate those outdated pieces to a corner of Windows where most people will never see them. You'll still find inconsistencies in the Windows 11 user experience, especially when using dark themes with legacy apps. Okay, that's something I still have to check out. Two major improvements in the user experience are less obvious but extremely welcome, especially for those who use Windows on a large display with multiple monitors with a docking station. And I use 3 monitors. Windows 11 adds a new set of options for snapping windows into side-by-side arrangements. You can still use the keyboard shortcuts, Windows key plus left and right arrows, for example, but moving the mouse pointer over the restore button reveals a set of layouts that are appropriate to the size of the current display. Okay, I haven't tried that because I have 2 19-inch displays and the display that came with the PC, which is a 13-inch display. On the 38-inch Dell display in my office, for example, which has a resolution of 3840 by 1600, I can arrange 2, 3, or 4 windows automatically using this menu. These layouts are automatically saved for reuse later. I definitely have to try that. The experience of using a docking station is also greatly improved with Windows 11, remembering the position of windows on each display and restoring those windows to their previous location when reconnecting. That's cool. That's a noteworthy contrast with Windows 10, which requires manual rearranging of windows when reconnecting a docking station. As part of the Windows 11 launch event, Microsoft announced big changes coming to the Microsoft Store, with developers now having the ability to deliver conventional desktop apps through the store. That's good. They also promised that Windows 11 users would be able to install and run Android apps. Yet they haven't brought that in here yet. That latter capability is still missing in action, with no firm ship date in sight. I'm guessing early next year, but maybe we'll get it before that for the Android apps. Meanwhile, the jury is out on when the Windows users will discover the Microsoft Store and flock to it after years of disappointment. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, I had the impression the only ones of us that use the Microsoft Store are basically us techie people. Crapware and other annoyances. If you found yourself annoyed by the constant reappearance of Candy Crush, oh yes, and other unsolicited software in the Windows 10 Start menu, prepare to be equally exasperated with Windows 11. On a default clean installation of any Windows 11 Consumer Edition Home or Pro, where you sign in using a Microsoft account or a local account, you'll be offered an assortment of third-party apps. Note that Windows users in corporate environments, you won't see any of these apps if they sign in with a domain-based Azure AD account or install Windows 11 Enterprise. On my test systems, the crapware collection consisted of Clipchamp, an online video editor. Yes, I've seen the online video editor. Pixar Photo Studio. Yes, and I think you saw that as soon as I brought up the menu. Yeah, see, there's Pixar. I didn't put that there. Let's see. Which offers a suite of online imaging, editing, and design tools, and Corel Paint Shop Pro. Maybe I'll try that. All are nominally free, but push their paid plans fairly aggressively. Well, of course they do. The list of pre-installed shortcuts, the apps aren't actually installed until you click a shortcut. Also include WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. Well, I use most of those. Amazon Prime Video and TikTok. Yeah, I use those 3, and I just signed up for TikTok yesterday, I think. I haven't even used it yet. All available as progressive web apps. You can completely remove any of these apps, installed or not, that's good, by right-clicking the shortcut on the Windows 11 Start menu and choosing Uninstall. Oh, that's easier than it used to be with Windows 10. Because it used to be you'd right-click, remove the shortcut, but then you had to go into programs to delete it or to uninstall it. So if they made it easier, that's great. The worst offender in the I never asked for that app competition, however, comes from Microsoft itself. On a default installation, you'll find a chat icon pinned to the taskbar. That's true. It's right there. Not there. See? Chat. I had no idea that was there. I haven't even tried it yet, but he's right. Let's see. Why are you staying there? Oh, that's his. I thought that was mine. With no obvious way to remove it. Unlike other pinned taskbar icons, there's no unpin or uninstall option available when you right-click. I tried that the first day. And when you search the list of installs apps, you won't find anything that includes the word chat. Pretty slick. It is kind of annoying. That's because chat is actually a part of Microsoft Teams. Yeah, I discovered that because when I clicked on it, I think it said something about Microsoft Teams, a version of which is installed automatically with Windows. Even more confusing is that Microsoft 365 installs a separate Teams app if you install the Office apps for Business on Windows 11. So then you'd have two? That seems weird. To hide the Teams chat icon, you have to go to Settings, Personalization, Taskbar, and turn the chat switch to the off position. Well, at least you can get rid of it. But you can't get rid of it off the computer itself, though. Someone at Microsoft thinks they can convince consumers to switch to Teams as their primary chat app. It's hard to imagine that happening. I've never tried it, so. The other annoyance visible on that same list is the new Widgets pane, which appears when you swipe in from the left on a touchscreen or click the taskbar Widgets button or press Windows key plus W. Widgets are a prominent feature on every other computing platform, so Microsoft is playing catch-up here. So I guess that's what that looks like. I think I've seen this one once, but I think I hit it by mistake. So obviously I have a lot to learn here, but I thought it'd be good to read through this stuff for you guys in case you do upgrade to Windows 11. And like I said, if you have a fairly new machine like I do, it should be smooth as silk. As delivered, widgets are a colossal disappointment. The calendar widget, for example, works only with the signed-in Windows user account. On Windows 10, I've been accustomed to signing in with a Microsoft account and then connecting my Microsoft Exchange calendar, part of a Microsoft 365 business account, to Windows. That configuration allows me to view upcoming events with a click on the taskbar's date. The calendar integration feature is gone from Windows 11, and none of the widgets, including calendar and to-do, allow you to swap accounts. The only way to see a business calendar is to sign into Windows using that business account. Well, that's silly. Meanwhile, the selection of available widgets is meager with no third-party add-ons available. So I guess that's what that looks like. S365, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, that does seem pretty meager. The only one that looks useful is Microsoft 365. The main purpose of the widgets panel seems to be to deliver extra cash to Microsoft's bottom line via an endless scrolling feed of headlines sprinkled with ads from Microsoft's Start, the latest incarnation of MSN News. Yeah, first thing I did was get rid of that because I always make Chrome my default. So they did try to push me the other way for a while, and then I finally got rid of it. Although you can customize that feed by specifying interest and hiding some news sources, it's not a great experience. Windows 11, built for new hardware. I've been running insider preview releases of Windows 11 on the Surface Pro 7 for several months, and it's been a generally positive experience with all the frustrations that come with running pre-release software. At least I didn't have to go through that. I've got a comment here from Keith. In my opinion, the person who wrote this article is wanting everything out of the gate. They know I gotta agree, Keith, because overall, just for the few days I've had it, and I admittedly haven't done much with it, it seems pretty smooth. To me, I think it's easier than Windows 10. So I'm liking it so far. So I've paired the Surface Pro 8 with Kensington's new SD575OT Thunderbolt 4 dock. That dock attaches to one of the two USB Type-C ports on the Surface Pro 8 using the supplied Thunderbolt cable, and enables high-speed wired Ethernet and external audio with support for up to 7 additional USB ports. Connecting the dock via second USB-C cable to a Dell UltraSharp 38 monitor enables multi-monitor support and connects additional USB ports on the monitor itself. The review unit has 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes NVMe SSD. Normally, I'd steer clear of enabling Hyper-V and creating virtual machines without significantly more storage, but I decided to try using the Crucial X6 2 terabyte portable SSD connected to one of the USB-C ports on the Kensington dock, and to my surprise, its performance was more than sufficient for creating a pair of virtual machines for test purposes. Well, that's good. Sounds like a pretty pleasant surprise to me. The touch experience on the Surface Pro 8 running Windows is surprisingly pleasant. One surprise is the ability to apply themes to the touch keyboard and to resize it so that it doesn't overwhelm the rest of the display. Well, that's cool. Now, of course, I don't have a touch one, so it sounds like that's pretty good so far. Windows 10 includes a feature called Tablet Mode that completely changes the taskbar and the way of interacting with the device when you disconnect the keyboard from a Surface Pro. Windows 11 does away completely with Tablet Mode. Instead, when you remove the keyboard, you'll notice that icons on the taskbar spread out slightly, making them easier to touch. You'll notice the same effect in the Office ribbon. Microsoft claims that the Surface Pro 8 can run for 16 hours on battery. As always, you can take those projections with a very large grain of salt, but the observed battery time reported by Windows over the past 5 days show battery life estimates of 8 to 10 hours per session, which is significantly better than the 5+ hours of battery life I normally get from the Surface Pro 7. That's great. Let's see. Missy, glad to have you here. She said, read Microsoft, they want everyone to be using TMP2. In most cases, only the newer ones have that. You can force some old systems into TPM, but with the possible of horrible outcomes. And that's what I'm thinking. If you don't have a really new machine like I do, my guess is maybe you'll be able to make Windows 11 work, but you're probably going to be sorry you did, is my guess. And she said, I meant TPM too. Okay. So good information. But yeah, I'd say you better be running a fairly new machine when you download Windows 11. So that's why my experience has been so positive and nice. This is a Ryzen chip, and this thing is incredibly fast. So I'm very happy with it. And so far, I'm happy with Windows 11. Upgrade or new hardware. As I said at the top, the Windows upgrade cycle is unlike everything I've ever seen before. Me too. Normally, the big question is, should you upgrade for Windows 11? The more important question is, can you upgrade? That's true. In a typical business with a mix of hardware in various ages, it might not be possible to upgrade an entire fleet, even if you wanted to. I never thought of that, but that's true in an enterprise environment. Can you imagine some of the people in an enterprise environment trying to do a whole, project, a whole group of people at the same time? It's probably going to drive them crazy. For those whose hardware does meet the minimum standards, the benefits of an upgrade might be hard to justify. Does meet the minimum standard, the benefit might be hard to justify. On laptops with docking stations, the improvements in multi-monitor support alone might be enough. But if you expect to switch between devices that are running Windows 10, yeah, you might prefer to avoid the upgrade in the interest of maintaining a consistent user experience. Yeah, I don't think I'd try running both. For new hardware, though, I'd probably recommend Windows 11, if only because it has a future that extends for another decade. For Windows 10, clock is counting down. That's true. And I know that was a long article, but I thought it was worth it just to give you guys some idea of what you're getting yourself into if you're going to try it all. But I still strongly stress, don't do it with anything. I'd say if you have anything older than a year-old computer or laptop, don't even try it. See, Massey says they did say they would be servicing with Windows 10 for a while, giving people time to upgrade. And they usually keep things around. But since the article said they'll be ending support for Windows 10 in 2025, it's usually like 5 or 6 or 7 years before they do. At least that's what it was with Windows 7 to 10. So I'm surprised it's that short. She said, "Hell on earth. I don't miss that IT work either, since I get to drive 3 days a week now." Hey, Mark, what's up, guys? The chat link squad and replay crew. Okay. Very thankful, Mark. Dinner time for me here. Yeah, it is your time. What time is it? Oh, yeah, for you, it's 6 o'clock on the nose. Otherwise, I'd hop in. But last minute, Aaron pushed my dinner, which I'm having now. Well, enjoy your dinner, sir, and I'm really just stopped in. And thanks for the replay stuff. And Ren says hello, in capitals, no less. So anyway, I thought the whole Windows 11 article was interesting. He seemed to cover everything pretty well. And for me, with an almost brand new computer, I think it's pretty awesome. So, okay. All right. Yeah, I think Mark has a right to eat rather than be on here with the old man, so that's okay. Okay, we lasted an hour. I think we weren't going to last that long. That's because that article was so long. That's the only reason we lasted. And I need to get a little drink of some tea. So Mark responds to Ren's with a capital also. Okay, this is my last article for the evening. And this one has been out at least a week and a half. I didn't get around to it last week, but I thought it was interesting enough that I wanted to get it out there. So I'm going to share. Okay. I wish I knew why the reader view mode is not working tonight, but every time I tried it, it kicked me out and I had to come back in, so I'm not going to try it again. So this one is on, no, I don't want to, oh, wow. This is on PC Mag. And this was interesting. Lithuania, the country, recommends throwing away Chinese phones as fast as reasonably possible. The country's defense minister discovered censorship controls included on Xiaomi phones. And this was from September 27th by Matthew Humphreys. Now, I'm going to do something different with this because they've updated this story twice since it came out. So I'm going to go to the bottom to the original story, and then we'll come back because the updates are Xiaomi responding to the article. So I'm going to go down. Here's the original story. The Defense Ministry of Lithuania is recommending that smartphones from Chinese brands be thrown away as quickly as possible following the discovery of built-in censorship on some handsets. As Reuters report, the recommendation was made by Defense Deputy Minister Margaret Abukevicius, I think, who said, that's the defense minister, our recommendation is not to buy new Chinese phones. So he's saying all Chinese phones. and to get rid of those already purchased as fast as reasonably possible. It follows the discovery of censorship capabilities on phones offered by Xiaomi. But I have to suspect he must have found it on at least one or two more Chinese phones. Otherwise, why would you say get rid of all Chinese phones? Just my suspicion. Okay, don't want that. In particular, the Xiaomi Mi 10T 5G contains software that detects and censors terms including Free Tibet, Long Live Taiwan Independence, wow, and democracy. So supposedly private company won't let you things that obviously the Chinese Communist Party wouldn't like. Okay, I can see where they wouldn't like it, but yeah, you're supposed to be a private company. The software is present, but disabled on phones sold in the European Union. But the Defense Ministry's National Cybersecurity Center believes the software could be enabled remotely at any time. I'm sure it could. The censorship controls can be browsed by any of the default system apps included on Xiaomi phones, including the default browser. A report released by the National Cybersecurity Center says there are 449 terms in Chinese that will be censored. Wow. But that list is regularly updated by the company. So I guess they could add more things that you wouldn't be allowed to say or to put out there. Huawei was also flagged for a security flaw discovered on its P45G phone, but the company has responded stating user data is not shared with others. Notably, OnePlus did not feature in the report. So why didn't say not to? Why they get rid of all Chinese phones? They're a Chinese phone. They're not having a problem. Xiaomi was added to a U.S. blacklist back in January, but by May the company had been removed from the list. The discovery in Lithuania could push the Department of Defense to take another look at Xiaomi to see if the same disabled censorship controls are included in phones sold in the U.S. Huawei, of course, has already been banned from the U.S. market. Okay, so that was the original article. So now I'm going to take you back to the first response from Xiaomi. Xiaomi, it seems, is the only company that's responded. Update 9/23. So the day after they first recommended getting rid of the Chinese phones. Xiaomi has now responded to the directive given by the Defense Ministry of Lithuania to throw away Chinese phones. A Xiaomi spokesperson said, Xiaomi's devices do not censor communications to or from its users. And technically that's true because he said they weren't turned on yet. Xiaomi has never and will never restrict or block any personal behaviors of our smartphone users, such as searching, calling, web browsing, or the use of third-party communication software. Xiaomi fully respects and protects the legal rights of all users. Xiaomi complies with the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR. And that's, I'm sure, what their big fear is, because the EU is very serious about the GDPR. But of course, you have to ask yourself, okay, it's not turned on and you're not blocking anything yet, but why is it in there? And I'm sure that's probably why the ministry is saying what they do. Now, this is 4 days later, Xiaomi updated their response with another response in greater detail to the claims being made against its handset in Lithuania cybersecurity investment of 5G-enabled mobile devices. Spokesperson for the company said, we take the allegations made in the report seriously. While we dispute the characterization of certain findings, we are engaging in an independent third party expert to assess the points raised in the report. We are confident in the integrity of our devices and compliance practices of our business, and we believe a third party will verify this for our users and partners. Yeah, but the problem is it's on the phone. You'd have to physically take back the phone and give them a new one to get rid of it, even though it's turned off. The spokesperson went on to tackle two major concerns raised within the report. alleged censorship. Xiaomi's devices do not restrict or filter communications from our users. Okay, they've already said that. The report points to Xiaomi's use of advertising management software that has the limited ability to manage paid and push advertising delivered to its devices through Xiaomi apps such as Mi Video and Mi Browser. This can be used to shield users from offensive content such as pornography, violence, hate speech, and references that may offend local users. This practice is common in the smartphone and internet industry worldwide. And I guess that could be, we'd have no reason to know. That probably is true, I guess. We review our advertising management system policies from time to time to ensure they meet the needs and expectations of our users. Xiaomi is committed to operating responsibly and transparently across all jurisdictions. We are committed to constant improvement and innovation and welcome engagement with users, regulators, and other interested stakeholders. Data processing and data transfer. The report also wrongly suggests inappropriate data stewardship. In fact, Xiaomi is fully compliant with all requirements of GDPR, including handling, processing, and transfer of end-user data. Our compliance applies to all systems, apps, and services. Any use of personal data is contingent on the valid consent of the end user and is always in accordance with local or regional laws and regulations of the European Union and its member states. Xiaomi operates in accordance with ISO IEC 27001 Information Security Management Standards and the ISO IEC 27701 Privacy Information Management System. Xiaomi has also received enterprise privacy certification from TrustDark on a yearly basis since 2016. This ensures the best possible privacy and security protections for the end user. Xiaomi would like to emphasize once again that we are committed to the privacy and security of our users. We operate the highest standards, comply with all local and regional regulations. Okay, so I don't think the user data thing, as far as what this brings up, is an issue. The issue is, why do you have that blocking stuff in the phone even though it's turned off? So this should be interesting. And of course, I'm sure, Xiaomi probably doesn't give a heck of a lot. How many phones can they sell in Lithuania? But Lithuania is part of the European Union, and that they are very worried about, I'm sure. So I just thought that was an interesting story. And if people hadn't heard about it, well, you've heard about it now. So let's see. Just looking through the comments here. Okay. See, Mark and Rez are talking about names. Resin Motion. Ren's a million. Okay, I'll buy that. Ren's, everybody loves you for some reason, including me. Oh, here you go. This one that fits. Ren's a pixel. There you go, Ren's. That's a good one for you. Okay. So, Mark, I hope you're eating and not just typing. Okay. Show has already lasted longer than I thought it would. So, no problem, sir. Always. So, I guess I'm getting ready to go. Oh, wait. Here's Brian. Brian says, no Xiaomi. Brian, does you actually mean that story would actually stop you from buying where it wouldn't, where you might have considered it before? And I guess I can somewhat see that, because even though the blocking stuff is not turned on, you gotta wonder, why did they put it in there? And it's only blocking stuff that the Chinese Communist Party wouldn't like. It seems like, at least the examples they gave. So, yeah, I can understand that. I might say the same thing, Brian, now that I think about it. Anyway, my next phone is going to be a Pixel, so it doesn't really matter. And I'm crazy about my Z Flip 3, which everybody knows, of course, I love this thing. Oh, I love that. That's a picture I took from in front of the house like 2 years ago, and I use that as my home screen on all my phones. I just think it's cool. Every once in a while, you get a great picture. Oh, Brian, thank you so much. Brian's using an Apple phone. Thank you so much, as always, Brian. Miss E is asking about. Oh, she likes the Doctor Who shirt. Oh, let me show you my shirt, folks. It was all the Doctor Who's up until the last two, but that's Doctor Who from the beginning. That's 1963. And I think Matt went off in 2012, I think. It's Matt Smith. And that's all the Doctors Who in between. And yes, I'm a real big Doctor Who fan. And I've been watching him. And of course, that's Tom Baker, most people's favorite doctor, certainly mine. And he was the doctor for the longest by far, I think like 6 years. So I'm a big Doctor Who fan. Oh, Renz, thank you so much. Ryan and Renz, you guys are always kind to me. I appreciate it very, very much. Thank you. Super sticker. Does that make me a super guy, a Superman? Couldn't resist that. Brian said, I'm still not on iOS 15 due to the phone scanning. Yeah, but Brian, they haven't, enabled it yet. I guess they haven't put it on anything yet, as far as I know. But yeah, I know how these companies are. They could do whatever they want and never even tell us. So Ren says I'm super geezer. Thank you, Renz. That could mean I'm super old, but I won't take it that way. So anyway, so I guess the implication, Brian, I guess is, I didn't know this, iOS 15, if you had donated from an iOS 15 phone, it doesn't take the penny anymore? Okay. He said that's true. Apple stole that penny, but in true Android fashion. Okay. Oh, so he switched over to an Android phone. Thank you, Brian. That is so nice of you. Okay. Well, if I sit here and whine enough, could I get a few $1,000s? Oh, you could buy me a Pixel 6 Pro, Okay, yes, I have no shame. I'm sorry. Anyway, that's pretty much my show for tonight, folks. As always, very grateful to Brian and Renz, and grateful for all of you. Missy gave some nice contributions, especially about Windows 11. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Missy is very close to getting a new computer herself. At least the last time we talked about it a while ago. Anyway, I highly recommend this computer. What is it? It is the Swift 3. It's the Acer Swift 3 laptop, and it's got the Ryzen 7 series, and this thing is, for me, fast as lightning. So I would highly recommend, and it's only like $649 or something like that. So I would highly recommend this computer. And it runs Windows 11 smoothly. We know that. Let's see. What did Mark said something back here that I missed? Oh, that's when he first came in. Chat, Lurk Squad, replicate. Okay. Oh, I didn't miss that. I just missed the beginning that I didn't see there. Okay. We got new comments. All right, so I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend and is very blessed. And it looks like it finally stopped raining here. Maybe I'll get back on my bicycle tomorrow after 6 days of no bicycle riding at all. And I just ordered a new exercise bike for in here today. So hopefully that'll be here in a couple of days. It's much smaller than one I have now. Thanks very much, Brian. Really appreciate it. And so I've carried the whole show by myself, and it's thanks to you guys commenting and putting information in. And of course, I always learn from all of you. So thanks for the super chats. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks for everybody that commented. And have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys next week.